The battle for Montana is about to reach its breaking point. Secrets are unraveling, loyalties are being tested, and the Duttons are on the brink of losing everything. Episode 7 promises to be a game changer, pushing our favorite characters to their limits. Who will survive? Who will betray them? And when the dust settles, will the Duttons still have a legacy left to fight for? Buckle up! The most intense chapter yet is coming. Episode 6 left us shattered, with 7 lives lost in one brutal sweep, and the looming shadow of vengeance casting a dark cloud over the Dutton family. But as the dust settles, a new storm is brewing. Episode 7 begins with an eerie silence, as the Duttons, scattered and struggling, brace themselves for what's to come. Each character is dealing with the fallout of past choices, and the consequences are starting to catch up with them. The heart of the episode focuses on Spencer Dutton. His return to Montana is imminent, and with it, the battle against Donald Whitfield and his growing forces. Spencer has been fighting through danger and treacherous terrain just to get back to his family. Every step of the way, he faces obstacles that seem almost impossible to overcome. His journey isn't just about physical survival anymore, it's a fight for the soul of Montana. Every inch he travels brings him closer to the inevitable showdown that will determine the future of the Dutton family. But can Spencer make it back in time, or will Whitfield's men beat him to it? Meanwhile, tensions rise on the ranch. The Duttons are vulnerable. Jack Dutton's fate remains a mystery after he was shot in the last episode. If he's still alive, what will his condition be when the rest of the family needs him most? And if he's dead, who will step in to defend the ranch? Jacob Dutton and his men are lying in wait, preparing for battle. But with the ranch in jeopardy, the stakes couldn't be higher. Cara Dutton and Elizabeth Stratford may be left to hold the fort, making their own desperate plans to survive against an overwhelming force. While the Duttons' personal struggle intensifies, so does the danger from the outside world. Whitfield's army of mercenaries is growing in strength, and they are ready for war. They've already shown how far they're willing to go, and with Spencer's return drawing near, the clock is ticking. Every move the Duttons make now could be their last. But it's not just the Duttons at risk. Tiana Rainwater's journey also takes a darker turn. She's lost nearly everything: her family, her home, and now her allies. After her brutal confrontation with Father Renan, she's left alone, struggling to survive in a world that seems determined to destroy her. Yet, even in the face of such overwhelming odds, Tiana's resolve only strengthens. The death of Renan leaves her with a powerful question hanging over her head. Will his allies seek vengeance? And if so, what will she do to protect herself and those she loves? But that's not all. Tiana's defiance against the church's brutality has sparked something bigger than she ever imagined. Could she become the spark for a larger uprising? Could the people who have been oppressed for so long finally rise up against their oppressors? Episode 7 hints at a turning point where Tiana might become the leader of something greater. But with that power comes a price. Can she control it, or will it consume her? The path ahead is fraught with peril. Whitfield's grip on Montana is tightening, and every move the Duttons make will determine their fate. But the true question remains: will the Duttons strike first, or will Whitfield's forces make the first move? Episode 7 promises to answer that question in a way that will leave fans on the edge of their seats, eagerly awaiting the next twist in this brutal saga. The storm is no longer just approaching, it's already here. As we dive deeper into Episode 7, the simmering tensions between the Duttons and Whitfield reach a fever pitch. The Dutton family, reeling from recent losses, must now prepare for the war that's about to consume them all. Every decision they make is crucial. One wrong move, and they could lose it all. Whitfield, relentless in his pursuit of power, is closing in, and his men are ready to strike at any moment. The stakes are raised higher than ever. Spencer Dutton's return to Montana is more than just a physical journey. It's a race against time. With each passing day, Whitfield's army grows stronger, and Spencer knows that if he doesn't return soon, the Duttons' future will be sealed in blood. His every step is marked by danger, and the elements are as much an enemy as the mercenaries hunting him. Yet, even in the face of such overwhelming odds, Spencer remains determined. He knows that if he can make it back to the ranch, the Duttons might stand a chance, if they're not already too far gone. But Spencer's journey is fraught with more than just physical obstacles. The emotional toll is impossible to ignore. He's witnessed the horrors of war and the loss of family. His love for Alexander is unshakable. Yet the cruelty of fate, is ever present. In the face of such pain, Spencer is forced to confront the harsh reality of survival. Can love and loyalty withstand the onslaught of violence and betrayal, or will Spencer's determination be his undoing? As the tension between Spencer and Whitfield escalates, the question remains, will Spencer's return be the turning point the Duttons desperately need, or will it be too little, too late? Meanwhile, back at the ranch, the tension is palpable. Jacob Dutton, the patriarch of the family, knows that the enemy is near, and his every move is calculated. He and his men are preparing for battle, waiting for the moment to strike. But with Jack's fate uncertain, Jacob's thoughts are never far from his nephew's condition. If Jack survives, will he be able to rally the family and help defend their land? Or will Whitfield's men strike while the Duttons are divided, hitting them when they're at their weakest? In the midst of this, the Dutton women Cara and Elizabeth find themselves on the front lines of this brutal war. With the men away, the responsibility of protecting the homestead falls squarely on their shoulders. Cara, a woman of strength and resolve, must now face the reality that the future of the Dutton legacy rests in her hands. Elizabeth, though less experienced, has proven her courage time and again. Together, they prepare for the worst. Yet, as the tension mounts, both women must confront their deepest fears. Will they be able to defend the ranch against Whitfield's forces? And what price will they pay for standing their ground? But the Duttons are not the only ones facing danger. Tiana Rainwater, abandoned by those who once stood beside her, now finds herself facing the harsh realities of a world that shows no mercy. The death of Renan has left a void, and with it, a dangerous question. Who will come after her? The enemies she once fought alongside are now her greatest threat. As she navigates this treacherous path, Tiana is forced to make decisions that could change the course of her life and the lives of those around her. Tiana's journey becomes a crucible, a test of will and survival. Her defiance against the church's power may be the spark that ignites something much larger, a movement for change, for freedom. But it's a dangerous game to play. She could become a symbol of resistance, a beacon of hope for the oppressed. But with every choice, she risks becoming the very thing she fights against, a target. Can Tiana rise to lead a revolution, or will the forces of power crush her before she has a chance to strike? The tension between the Duttons and Whitfield is set to explode, and the entire landscape of Montana is shifting. As alliances are tested and betrayals loom large, Episode 7 promises to keep viewers on the edge of their seats. The battle is no longer just about land. It's about survival, legacy, and the cost of power. With every twist and turn, the stakes rise higher, and the Duttons must fight for everything they hold dear, knowing that the price of failure could be more than they can bear. As the Duttons prepare for war, each character finds themselves facing their own personal battles. The fight for Montana has never been just about land. It's about family, legacy, survival, and the brutal consequences of betrayal. The stakes in Episode 7 are higher than ever, and the choices that the Duttons make could either secure their future or lead to their ultimate downfall. It's a time of reckoning for everyone involved, as the walls close in and the line between ally and enemy blurs. Spencer Dutton's story arc takes center stage. After episodes of turmoil and relentless challenges, Spencer's return to Montana is more urgent than ever. He's been through the fires of battle, the loss of family, and the weight of vengeance that now drives him forward. His determination to get back to Montana isn't just about homecoming, it's about redemption. Spencer knows that the Dutton family's future hinges on him, and the looming conflict with Whitfield's forces only strengthens his resolve. But the journey ahead is treacherous. Spencer's path is not just physical. It's a mental and emotional endurance test, as he battles not only the harsh elements of the wilderness, but also the ghosts of his past. His feelings of guilt and loss haunt him every step of the way. His love for Alexander is tested by the uncertainty of her safety, as well as the reality of what he's sacrificing to get back to her. Spencer isn't just fighting for survival, he's fighting for the possibility of love and a future that seems almost impossible. The wilderness pushes him to his limits, making every choice more dire. Will Spencer be able to make it back to the ranch in time to protect his family, or will his journey end before it even begins? Meanwhile, on the ranch, the Duttons' survival is anything but certain. With Jacob Dutton's leadership now questioned, the family faces the harsh truth that every moment without Spencer puts them further in danger. Whitfield's army is closing in, and every move they make is calculated to bring them closer to victory. Jacob knows that the ranch could fall at any time, and the burden of leadership weighs heavily on him. But he is not a man who backs down from a fight. His experience, resolve, and cunning will be tested like never before. In Jacob's absence, Kara and Elizabeth are left to defend the homestead. With the men out of sight, the women must step up to protect their family's legacy. Kara Dutton, in particular, takes on a leadership role she never expected. Her strength, determination, and intelligence are key to keeping the ranch intact as the war with Whitfield grows closer. But the emotional toll of the ongoing conflict is immense. Kara, who has always been a pillar of strength for her family, must now carry the weight of the future alone. Can she hold on to that strength, or will the pressure become too much for her? Elizabeth Stratford, once a symbol of innocence and hope for the Dutton family, must now step into a role she never anticipated. Her bond with Jack Dutton and her commitment to the ranch make her an unlikely but essential figure in the fight. Elizabeth is forced to confront the reality of the world she's living in, where loyalty, love, and survival go hand in hand. She's thrust into a world of violence and power struggles, where the line between right and wrong blurs. With Jack's fate still unknown, Elizabeth must prepare for the worst and fight to ensure the ranch's survival, even if it means sacrificing everything she's ever known. The tension between the Duttons and Whitfield is palpable. Every moment brings the two families closer to an inevitable clash, and the war for Montana is about to take a deadly turn. Whitfield's mercenaries are ready for battle, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The question now is, when will that moment come? The Duttons are preparing, but will they be ready in time? Can they anticipate Whitfield's every move, or will they fall into his trap? Meanwhile, the political landscape of Montana is shifting. Whitfield's influence continues to grow, and his hold on the land is tightening. His plans for domination are moving forward with ruthless efficiency. It's not just about revenge anymore, it's about power, control, and reshaping the entire landscape of Montana to suit his desires. Whitfield's cold, calculating nature makes him a formidable foe. He's not simply out for personal gain, he seeks to change the fabric of the land itself, and in doing so, he's willing to destroy anyone who stands in his way. The Duttons, once the undisputed rulers of Montana, now find themselves fighting against a force that will stop at nothing to see them brought to their knees. But even in the face of such overwhelming odds, the Duttons refuse to surrender. Their love for their land, their family, and their legacy drives them forward. As Whitfield's plans unfold, the Duttons must decide what they're willing to sacrifice to protect everything they hold dear. It's a question of survival. Who will stand, and who will fall? The battles to come will be a test of loyalty, courage, and the very soul of the Dutton family. Every choice counts, and every misstep could be their last. Tiana Rainwater's story is equally tense, though hers takes a much darker turn. Abandoned by her allies, Tiana is now a woman alone, faced with enemies on all sides. Her journey has been one of loss and survival. And now, after the death of Father Renan, she finds herself caught between two worlds. Her defiance against the brutality of the church has earned her both enemies and potential allies. The question of whether she will rise to lead a larger movement against the oppression of her people hangs over her. Her choices are crucial, not just for her survival, but for the survival of those who look to her for guidance. Tiana's growing role as a potential leader is explored with depth. She is not just fighting for herself anymore, she is fighting for her people. But the path to leadership is fraught with peril. She must navigate the dangerous political landscape where every ally could turn into an enemy in the blink of an eye. The stakes are high, and Tiana must decide whether to take the lead in a revolution that could change everything or risk losing it all in her quest for vengeance. The cost of leadership is steep, and Tiana must decide if she has the strength to carry that weight. The movement she could spark may bring hope, but it also promises danger. As the episode unfolds, the intensity only rises. Every character, every action, every decision builds to a point of no return. The Duttons and their allies are on the edge of a precipice, and one wrong move could be their undoing. Spencer's return, the fate of Jack, the battle for the ranch, and Tiana's rebellion against the church are all moving toward a devastating convergence. Who will emerge victorious? And what will the cost of that victory be? Episode 7 is set to answer those questions. But one thing is for certain, the price of power in Montana is about to get even higher. As the stakes rise in Episode 7, the Duttons face a dangerous reality, facing not only the threats they know, but also the ones they've yet to uncover. The looming battle with Whitfield is inevitable, but the web of alliances and betrayals surrounding the Duttons is growing more complicated by the day. It's not just about survival, it's about strategy, cunning, and knowing who to trust, and more importantly, who to fear. Spencer Dutton, in his desperate journey back to Montana, encounters unexpected allies in the wilderness. The closer he gets to his home, the more complex his mission becomes. Spencer has always been a fighter, but now, more than ever, he must rely on others to survive. In a world that is rapidly becoming more unpredictable, these new alliances may be his only chance to return to the ranch. But with every ally comes a new risk. Can he trust the people he meets along the way, or will they be the ones to betray him? Spencer's journey isn't just one of physical hardship, it's a psychological battle as he grapples with the harsh realities of who his allies truly are and the lengths they're willing to go to achieve their own goals. His faith in those around him is tested at every turn. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Kara and Elizabeth face their own set of challenges. With Jacob Dutton out of sight and Jack's fate hanging in the balance, the weight of protecting the family and the homestead falls squarely on their shoulders. They must rely on their wits, courage, and unwavering resolve to defend everything they hold dear. But the tension between them is undeniable. While they both share a deep love for the Dutton legacy, they come from vastly different backgrounds, and the pressures of the war with Whitfield are forcing them to confront their differences. In moments of quiet tension, Kara and Elizabeth struggle to find common ground. Can they work together to protect the ranch, or will their differences drive them apart at a time when unity is needed most? The specter of betrayal looms large. As Whitfield's forces inch closer to victory, those who seem to be on the side of the Duttons may have their own hidden agendas. Trust becomes a currency more valuable than ever, and even the people closest to the family may not be what they appear. The cracks in the Duttons' alliances are starting to show. A trusted ally may not be who they claim to be, and this betrayal has the potential to break the Duttons' defenses at a crucial moment. The question becomes, who is truly loyal, and who has been working against them all along? Tiana Rainwater's arc continues to deepen, and her journey toward becoming a leader of the oppressed takes a darker turn. As the death of Father Renan echoes in her mind, Tiana finds herself surrounded by both enemies and potential allies. Her resistance against the church and the powerful forces controlling the land is reaching a boiling point. As she grapples with her own identity and the pressure of leading a rebellion, Tiana's path may intersect with those of characters who have their own reasons for seeking vengeance or justice. This convergence of interests creates a volatile mixture where friendships can shift into rivalries and enemies can unexpectedly become allies. The tension between the Duttons and Whitfield reaches new heights in this episode, but the true nature of the threat becomes clearer. Whitfield's mercenaries are not simply soldiers. They are hunters, meticulously tracking their prey and waiting for the perfect moment to strike. They understand the land, the people, and the Dutton family's weaknesses better than anyone. In the game of power and control, they have the upper hand. The Duttons' land, their legacy, their very survival is at risk. But this is a game that requires more than just physical strength. It requires manipulation, deception, and ruthlessness. Whitfield's ability to play the long game makes him an unpredictable force, and his every move is calculated for maximum effect. Yet, it's not just about brute force. Whitfield's influence has begun to spread throughout Montana, and his network of spies and collaborators is growing. He's managed to infiltrate the Duttons' inner circle, planting seeds of distrust that threaten to undermine the family from within. Those who once considered themselves loyal to the Duttons now find themselves questioning their allegiances. Will they remain true to their roots, or will they be swayed by the promises of power and wealth that Whitfield offers? Episode 7 delves into the concept of loyalty in a world where everything is for sale. Every character is forced to decide where their true allegiance lies. Will they fight for the Dutton legacy, or will they betray the very people they've sworn to protect? The emotional stakes are as high as the physical ones, and as the battle for Montana intensifies, the true cost of loyalty will become painfully clear. One wrong decision could shift the balance, and the Duttons must navigate a treacherous web of loyalty and betrayal to emerge victorious. As the episode unfolds, the lines between friend and foe blur. Tiana, in her quest for justice, finds herself entangled in this web of manipulation. Her own quest for freedom and retribution puts her on a path that could either inspire the oppressed or send them to their doom. Her leadership potential is undeniable, but with that power comes a great cost. The forces working against her are not just external, they are within her too. Can she remain true to her vision, or will she be tempted to use power in the same way those who oppressed her once did? Her inner battle is just as dangerous as the one she faces in the physical world. Back at the Duttons' ranch, the tension between the family and Whitfield's forces is building to a boiling point. Whitfield has laid his plans carefully, making sure that every move is perfectly timed. But the Duttons, though divided, are still a formidable force. Jacob, even though physically distant, remains the heart of the family, and his leadership is the anchor the Duttons desperately need. The men on the front lines of this conflict understand that the ranch is more than just land. It's the foundation of their very identity. If they lose the ranch, they lose everything. The fight for Montana has now become a fight for their survival, and the cost of failure is too great to even imagine. But the question still hangs in the air. Who will make the first move? Will the Duttons be able to strike before Whitfield's forces do, or will they be forced to defend themselves in a battle they're not fully prepared for? As alliances shift, betrayals surface, and the war escalates, one thing is certain. This conflict will reshape Montana forever. And only those who are able to navigate the treacherous currents of power, loyalty, and survival will emerge victorious. As the final moments of Episode 7 approach, the tension is at its peak. The Duttons are ready for war, but are they truly prepared for what's coming?